On this edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, we reminisce about some of the stories we've covered to this point while launching a new fundraising effort. And we chat with one of Baseball Alberta's top athletes. Back for another episode in the basement. This is Alberta Dugout Stories podcast. I am Joe McFarland. He is Ian Wilson. Ian, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Always
2
a
weeks
pleasure.
in a row, man. Oh man! And you had to drive all the way to Siberia to get up here. So I appreciate the effort that you're taking. I'm gonna try to figure out how to make this a mobile studio. And when I get to that point, it's gonna be. I think that's way too high tech. But if we get to that point, that'd be kind of cool, like broadcast games and stuff, maybe.
Let's broadcast live from wherever, Al's Auto Parts. Let's do it.
Speaking of Al's Auto Parts, if you want to be a sponsor, no, I'm kidding.
No, don't kid.
No,
come sponsor us. Yeah.
We are drinking some Medicine Hat Brewing Company beer in case they happen to be interested in sponsoring us. If you want to be the beer sponsor of the podcast. This isn't about shilling. Oh, maybe it is.
A little bit.
So for episode 5 here, in case you missed it on the social media and on albertadugoutstories.com, on Friday we launched, it's a bit of a fundraiser for us, so full disclosure here, because we have some stuff, but at the same time, I think we want to reward and kind of give away some things to some of you who happen to be our biggest fans as well. So if you got those baseball fans on your Christmas list that you want to get some stuff for, by all means, that's what this is kind of all about.
'Tis the giving season, and no better way than to shop with us. And full disclosure, we're not a nonprofit. We're not a charity. This is we're a startup venture, and the funds raised will support the work that we're doing.
And it's simple things like subscriptions or web hosting isn't cheap, or the podcasting equipment, or cell phone bills for that matter. I mean, that's been the big one to me. It's surprising. Every so often, or every month, you get the bill and it's, well, why did this one turn out to be a couple of $100? And then you go, oh, right, that 20-minute phone call with the guy in Florida, like Lars Davis, for example, which is that one took off over the last couple of weeks. Vauxhall, it was Prairie Baseball
PBA.
Academy. That's right. Prairie Baseball Academy. Thanks for the share on that one, resharing it, because Lars is going to be in town in February for a big speech and to do there. So looking forward. Hopefully we'll be able to we'll try to make that trek down, or make a few treks over the course of the next few months here, because I know there's a lot of fundraisers and that kind of thing at the different academies and the different spots around the province. So leading into what's going to be a crazy hectic baseball season.
Awesome.
Why don't we get started with what we launched on the website on Friday, and that is the silent auction. And Ian, you're the brainchild of this, so I'm going to let you explain what, in case people haven't checked it out, how this all works. Is it just a matter of going in, dropping an email, and saying, "Hey, I want this, and I'm willing to offer this," and if it's the highest bid, that wins, or can you upbid somebody, or how does this all work?
Yeah, essentially, and how this idea came about was we had an in-kind sponsor that stepped up and said, "Hey, we aren't necessarily going to pay you cash, but we've got some valuable items, so we're going to donate to you, and you can do with it as you wish." And we said, "Hey, let's turn this into a fundraiser. Let's auction some of this stuff off, see how it sells." So some of that's some pretty nice baseball gear, which we can talk about in a bit. And then just, in our travels, we also accrue some other items along the way. I'm a bit of a collector and
Hoarder.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
This is why I end up with random free baseball cards every time you come here.
Yeah, well, you love it.
I do. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So how it works is all the items that we have that are up for auction are on the website. There's going to be over 20 items, I believe. And all you need to do is go to the website, have a look. If there's something that you like, there's like I said, a picture of the item. There's a description of what the item is, if it's not already obvious, and a minimum bid. So All you have to do is email us at our email, albertadugoutstories@gmail.com, with a bid that is at the minimum bid or higher. And then at the close of the auction, we're not necessarily going to be sharing publicly what everyone has bid, but we will basically determine who has the highest bids after the deadline of the auction, and we'll contact people who have those highest bids. And feel free to drop us a line if you're like, hey, like what's going on? Am I in the running here? We'll let you know. We'll play ball with you and let you know about that. If there are bids that are tied, we'll let people know, hey, you're tied with this person. Well, we won't divulge who it is,
Right.
but we'll just let them know and give them the opportunity to bid things up. And
Right.
this is a first for us, so we're just kind of trying it out, see how it goes. There's some other organizations that do things like this, and hopefully there's enough there that people like and want to bid on. And pretty much all of it, most of it is baseball related, and we can talk about some of those items if you'd like as well.
Sure. Let's. What's one that really caught your eye right off the bat?
Well, one of the, of course, the Blue Jays are big everywhere in Canada. The prize pack for the Blue Jays prize is there's a backpack there that's a cooler bag with Blue Jays logos on it, collectible pin, keychain, ball cap, and then there is a 1992 vintage large Blue Jays sweater. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good wow or a bad wow, but it's a wow.
Yes. So it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder there. And of course, we do a lot of stories about the Blue Jays, talking about the Medicine Hat Blue Jays usually. And maybe I'll throw it back to you and ask you what you've done. It seems like you've done most of the Blue Jays stories.
Given that you're the one from Medicine Hat, I would have thought that you would have ended up being the guy to do that, but you're the Calgary guy somehow randomly. You know what? The fun one lately has been the Eric Kratz story, and it was amazing how many people reached out after that story was made public. And I did reach out to the Brewers in hopes that Eric would be able to get in touch with us, and I haven't heard back yet. Hopefully at some point down the line. Obviously, he's got a few decisions to make. I'm sure there's talk of the R word and that. I mean, he's not a young pup by any stretch of the imagination anymore. But Rolando Pino, his manager in Medicine Hat in the last season of the Medicine Hat Blue Jays, was a really candid interview. And unfortunately, the audio wasn't great because he was on cell phone and it was kind of a rough connection. But I was able to glean enough of comments to make a good roundabout story about it. But the number of people who reached out after and said, I remember Eric Kratz, was really cool to see. I didn't think that he'd have that much of an impact, but the way that Pino really spoke highly of Kratz really made me believe the things that were being said about him with the Brewers and how he became sort of this figurehead of the veteran group there. And so that was pretty cool to see.
Who doesn't love the journeyman story when it gets to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Especially if they're contributing, and he did in the playoffs. He had a good playoffs, and just a fun story. And we do have one of the items we have a selection of T-shirts that are up for grabs. One of them is a Brewers shirt.
Oh, perfect.
So you can rock the Brewers shirt.
See if you can logo it up through Lids or somebody and get, Kratz 34, I think, or 38 on the back. I can't remember his number. I think it's 38.
Not sure.
It's so that for me, that's the big one for the Med Hat Blue Jays. I mean, talking to Rob Ducey was pretty cool really early on about some of the things that he's managed to accomplish was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Some of the other items we have up for grabs, we've got a selection of different books I'm a baseball book nut. I can't go into a bookstore and not pick out a book. And there's so much great fodder out there. Some of that is Alberta related. Usually I try and find something where there's Alberta connections. If you pick up a copy of David Wells' biography, he mentions Medicine Hat with frequency, which is funny to read.
Is it in a good way or a bad way?
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's talking about they stayed at the Assiniboia Inn
Yeah.
back in the day, so there's going to be some color.
You know what's
stories.
amazing? Speaking of the Assiniboia, I love that the Medicine Hat thing is going to, all of a sudden this episode's becoming about Medicine Hat. But one of the best stories over the last year or so, speaking of the Med Hat Blue Jays, was Lloyd Moseby getting inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And I was in on that conference call when he was inducted, and I end up getting to ask him a couple of questions about Med Hat. And he said the craziest thing is Lloyd's an Oakland boy. And he comes up to Canada, and he was actually met at the airport by a helicopter, and was helicoptered to the field, not on the field. It wasn't one of those situations, but they had to rush him in to get him into the lineup for the Med Hat Blue Jays in 1978. And he ended up staying in the Assiniboia. And it was during that stay, he says, one morning I wake up and there's this ruckus outside, and I don't know what's going on. And I look out the window, and there's cows and horses, and it's just a giant free-for-all out there. And I'm sitting there going, did I fly back to Kansas or something? And didn't understand what it was. And I put two and two together and realized the Medicine Hat exhibition and Stampede was during one of those weeks. And sure enough, he must have been there for the parades. So, but he had a pretty good chuckle about that. And I actually still randomly have the audio from that. So at some point in the next few weeks, I'll make sure to dig that up and share it with everybody for the podcast.
Excellent. And one of the prizes we have up for grabs too is kind of a random selection of baseball cards. That's the other thing I kind of hoard and hang on to is guys who have played in Alberta at some level. So be it Medicine Hat Blue Jays, Calgary Cannons, Lethbridge Dodgers, Edmonton Trappers. So and whoever kind of wins that prize, we can work with them and kind of tailor it if there's a specific team that they want or players that they want. We can work on that. And getting back to the books a little bit, one of the books that we have is a copy of Jose Canseco's book, Juiced, perfect, which is entertaining in its own right.
Yep.
But we also did a story on Jose Canseco and his time.
The Derby.
Yes. Yeah, the Derby that he didn't know he was taking part in.
That would be a fantastic one that I want to resurrect on the podcast as well at some point, is bring in Drew Miller and some of those guys who were a part of some of the shenanigans of the Golden League.
Yeah.
And if I've got a recommendation for another podcast, head on over to 30 for 30, and they've done a podcast on Ricky Henderson, and this was pre-Calgary Vipers and Edmonton Cracker Cats days. This was 2005. But Ricky Henderson's 46 years old and still holding on to the dream of playing baseball. And he ends up going, and I can't remember which team he played for, if it was San Diego. But he ended up playing on this Golden League team and was kind of disappointed by the end of the season because he didn't get picked up. And then he absolutely dominated in the playoffs and was stealing bases left, right, and center and hitting and clobbering home runs. So it's a really fun listen. It's 40 minutes, and it's definitely worth it. So
he was the greatest after all.
He was.
He let everyone know it.
That was the other fascinating part about that podcast was the fact that he was not shy about thinking that he was the greatest of all time. And then when you actually listen back to his Hall of Fame induction speech, and it was a little more classy. And it was it does play some of the clips from that. So it's a fascinating listen. Like I said, 30 for 30 if you want to check that one out.
Awesome. Yeah, and some of the items we have up for grabs too are T-shirts. We've got a pretty nice Pacific Coast League T-shirt.
Oh, perfect.
A lot of these T-shirts were actually donated by a guy that we play slow pitch with, Steph Chopik.
Oh, perfect.
So he
shout out. I know he listens too.
He does listen, and he's been a big supporter of ours. Yeah. He's traveled to a lot of ballparks. He's also been to the Field of Dreams in Iowa and the cornfields there, and check that out. And I think he's down to like 3 or 4 parks left to Major League Baseball parks. Anyway, during his travels, he found some of these really cool vintage shirts and donated those to us. So there's Minneapolis Millers and there's Pacific Coast League shirt that's pretty sweet. I may have to bid on some of this stuff myself.
This is kind of self-defeating, isn't it? In the sense when I'm looking at some of this stuff going, ooh.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of, one of the items, and we announced it in last week's podcast, and we announced it last week, but Easton is a proud supporter and sponsor of Alberta Dugout Stories now. And there's not one, but two different prize packs from them. And it was funny when they came in the mail and I opened them up and my fiance saw what was in it and she went, ooh. Especially there's a pink bat in there, which is going to be a favorite. They're both baseball bats. They're not slow pitch bats. So if you've got a young fan who's looking to get some new equipment, that kind of thing, that's going to be the prize to take home for sure. There's some pretty nice equipment. The glove, the bag, and the bat, all in two different packages.
Some really nice swag, and some of those bats are so light.
I know. Like what do I do? What do I do with this thing? Like
you strike out on one pitch. That's what you do. Yeah.
Oh, what else is on the list?
So other things we have on the list. So one of the T-shirts too is we talked about the Golden Baseball League, the Calgary Vipers. We've got some nice Vipers T-shirts that you can't go wrong with that. If you lived in Calgary and you're a baseball fan, it's just classic look, right?
I do love that there is now a resurrection of the nostalgia. Yeah. And I can't remember the name of the company out of Edmonton that we follow. Ross Flats.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of trapper stuff, which is phenomenal. I did see Lids, and I ended up buying a Calgary Cannons ball cap from Lids, and I know they had a trapper's cap as well. And you're starting to see the momentum go, and I'm just waiting for a guy like Russ Parker to roll out and say, oh, by the way, I've had this Quonset full of stuff that cannons, jackets, and stuff that you guys can use. So that'd be so good. It'd be Russ, if you're listening.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that story about the I think it was the ET game that got made? I think it was an Atari game or a Nintendo. I'm pretty sure it was Atari. Anyway, they built designed this game way back when gaming was just starting, and it flopped. It was terrible design.
Right.
Just didn't work. They ended up burying in a landfill all these tapes, cassettes, whatever they are, and there's a really good documentary about digging this stuff up. So we need to dig up the cannons and Trapper's stuff before it ends up in the landfill.
It's so funny. Is again, you go back to that nostalgia piece and you talk about digging up old stuff. And speaking of old stories like that, remember the Stu Stone story?
Yes.
I can't remember the name
baseball
of the baseball
card documentary.
Yeah. And you actually met Stu and broke a couple of Topps 87 packs as well. How was that? I haven't really talked to you about that since the documentary was played in Calgary.
Yeah, so the Jack of All Trades was the name of the documentary, and Jose Canseco was in that.
Yeah, he's the centerpiece of that one.
And he explores a lot of the game or the baseball card industry back in the 90s when everything went haywire and went south as well. And there's a personal story there as well with his father. His father owned a store, so it was a good documentary. But he did a really good job. It was at the Calgary Film Festival, I believe, where he was screening it. And after the show, he invited people to come back and crack packs of 1987 Topps. And
they're beautiful cards.
Yeah, they are.
There's two series that I loved when I was a kid, and I know you hate the 90 Don Russ, but I love them with every ounce of my heart.
That's the red one?
The red one's 100%.
Blood red horror. Terrible.
They look awful, but I love them. And the 87 Topps. And actually, when I went to Seattle in April with Aaron, we went to a little shop on the beach, and sure enough, they had baseball cards in there. And so I was like, "Yep, if you got 87 Topps," and they had a bunch of those, and I think it was 88.
Of course
Don
they do.
Russ. So everybody's got them apparently. But it's a fantastic documentary if you did get a chance to see it, because it's got a family aspect to it, but it also is nice to wax nostalgic, literally.
And one of the things he does is like he'll crack packs with the guys in the documentary. And like, hey, you want to try the gum? And watching the reaction is interesting. I went for it. I whatever.
How bad was it?
It wasn't that bad. It just it disintegrates in your mouth.
Right.
So it doesn't really taste bad. It's just kind of like that. That's
so
gone.
that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. But
Let's take a brief pause now and go back in time a bit. Now, Baseball Alberta had its annual AGM and awards banquet a couple of weekends ago, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get to Edmonton for that, but we have been able to start catching up with some of the award winners. This week, I caught up with Alberta's top midget AAA baseball player, following in the footsteps of the likes of Matt Lloyd, Tanner Kerwer, Eric Sabrowski, and Matt Kootenay. This is Ben Prediger of the University of Calgary Dinos Academy. Ben, first off, congratulations on winning the Midget AAA Player of the Year through Baseball Alberta. I'm wondering, when did you find out, and were you surprised by the award?
I found out, I was in school at the time, actually, and I just got an influx of texts from a whole bunch of people, like Cam, my coach, my dad. He called me in the middle of class, and he was ecstatic. He was just got a phone call, you won, and I mean, words could not describe the feeling. It was phenomenal, and I was really taken by surprise because there was a lot of good players this league. This year, I feel like the league was super competitive, and there was a lot of competition and a lot of good names in the ballot this year, and I was really honored to win it.
Now, there's a lot of names on that list of players who've won before you that have gone on to some pretty good things, even in the last couple of years, like Matt Lloyd and Eric Sabrowski, a few guys that are making an impact in post-secondary education down in the States. Is that a path that you look at, and you look at those guys and the names that are on that list and go, I got some big shoes to fill here?
For sure. That's definitely always been the dream. I've always wanted to play Division I baseball, and those guys, they're phenomenal. Even Matt Lloyd, he's still tearing it up at IU in his senior season this year, I think. And I mean, it really is just motivation. I feel like looking at those guys, and it just makes you want to work harder and accomplish the same things, if not better, than what they've done.
When you look back on 2018, what really stands out for you as maybe a highlight of your season or your team's season?
Personally, I think it was our provincial run in the playoffs. I knew we had a good chance, and we had to battle through some adversities. Our coach was always telling us that it's the peak. Every game, it's just we're reaching towards the top, and I really think we peaked at the right time. Provincials couldn't squeeze out the championship, but I mean, we made it farther than any junior dino team in history, and I really think that's special, and it's really special to be a part of that.
How important is it for you to be able to set a bit of a bar, whether it's with a team or yourself personally, to make sure that others after you or even yourself, you're trying to always set the bar just a little bit higher?
I really feel like me being a tenured player on this team and kind of being the leader that I think I was this year, I really think practice was always just put my head down, get to work, and try to get my work done and get better every day. And that it has a domino effect. Like once one guy does it, another guy does it, and it really just runs through the whole team. And we had a great group of guys this year who always were putting in work, and we like to work hard. So I think I did a good job of that.
Where do you figure you get your work ethic from?
My father, 100%. He's been a big influence in my life. He played a really high level hockey down in the States, and he's just been the biggest influence in my life. He's up every day at 5 a.m. working out, and I mean, he's role model for me to just get better every day.
So he played hockey, and yet here you are playing baseball. And I'm curious how you connect the dots there, and how did you end up in baseball of all sports?
Well, I played hockey for a bit, and I wasn't that good at all. But my brother, he was a big baseball guy. My grandpa, he's in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame as a coach. He coached baseball and hockey. And my great-grandpa as well, he's in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame for baseball, and he was a phenomenal baseball player. He never had a season under 300, and I really they kind of inspired me hearing stories about them. But really, my brother, he got into baseball early, started in the Absolute Baseball Academy, and I followed in his shoes and kind of just went from there, you know.
It's amazing to me, is especially in a city and in a province where football and hockey are fighting for top spot. Here's baseball quietly just going about its business and doing its own thing and getting some pretty good success out of the deal as well. When you look at guys such, I'll look at even a Mike Soroka, that kind of thing, where you've got guys who are having some success. Does it give you hope that, one day you could potentially get up to the show as well?
Oh, for sure. I look at Mike. He's been a big role model, not just for me, but for the whole country as well. I mean, him, Rietzma, having guys like that out of your country getting drafted as high as they have, and Mike making the show so early, that's phenomenal. And I really think it gives kids like me, younger and Little League, kind of hope of playing in the major leagues. And I feel like it's not an out-of-reach goal. I feel like if I get to work in college and do what I can do, what I know I can do, I feel like I have a good shot at making that happen.
You've mentioned the word work, so I have a feeling that if you look ahead to 2019, that might be the key to success to keep the thing rolling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel like if I match up with the right school and they give me what I need and I do my thing down there, I really feel like I get a good shot.
Is that a challenging thing as somebody in high school trying to, it's one thing to be, just a regular student who's trying to figure out, what school is going to be best for them, but it's got to be another thing to be factoring in not just the scholastic part of things, but also the baseball side of things as well. How much do you weigh baseball versus scholastic in terms of your post-secondary education?
I really feel like it's all about balance in life in general. I really think it's all about balance, but I do prioritize my baseball because I feel like that might be my ticket in life, perhaps. And I really do prioritize that. But school is really important. Keeping a high GPA, your SAT score, it all adds up. And I feel like I really like to keep it even and balance them up. But I really do prioritize them both equally.
How much in terms of advice or that do you get from other guys who've gone through, maybe they're a couple of years older, they're now going through the post-secondary route and you see them having success? How many guys or which guys do you lean towards to kind of get a little bit of a feel for what's to come in the years ahead?
I really lean towards Cam McLaughlin, my coach. He had a phenomenal career down south. Played at good schools and really thrived down there, as well as Jared Kennedy. We became friends a couple years back. My first year on the Junior Dinos, we were throwing partners actually, and now he's doing really well down at Kinesis. They just won the MAC, and he's a really good dude to be around, and he has a lot of knowledge, and he's really helped me out through all this stuff.
That's one of the things that I've heard over and over and over again, whether it be from recruiters and coaches or players, is that it's not just about being a good ball player, but it's about being a good human being at the end of the day, and how much of that weighs in on it, whether it's the leadership aspect or anything else when it comes to baseball, that you've got to be paying attention to more than the stat line.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of components that do come into recruiting and whatnot, but it's leadership's one of those things that I feel kind of goes unnoticed. I mean, you could have the best player in the country, but if he's not a team guy and he's not putting up good quality at bats for the team, but he's only worried about his stat line, you're not going to do very well. But if you got a good team guy, leadership, and he'll do anything for the guy right next to him, I feel like that helps your team win a lot of ball games.
Ben, again, congratulations on the victory and the award over the last couple of weekends here through Baseball Alberta, and continued success as you go through the next steps in your baseball journey.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Ben Prediger of the University of Calgary Dinos Academy, the Baseball Alberta Midget AAA Player of the Year awarded earlier on this month. We have a few more interviews with award winners coming up over the next few weeks here on Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. Ian, let's dive back into the nostalgia part of what we're doing here with this fundraiser. We've talked teams, we've talked cards, we've talked bubble gum, all kinds of crazy things. You had a really cool experience earlier this year in Edmonton with a former Trappers star.
Speaking of some of the nostalgia, and one of the cards that was a collectible back then, Ron Kittle. Mm-hmm. We did a story on him. He came back for the Edmonton Prospects Nostalgia Night this year, which ended up getting rained out, which sucked. It sucked for the team. I felt bad for everyone who organized that. But on the plus side, I got a chance to interview him and meet Ron Kittle and actually go golfing with him. And we've got a signed ball of his. It's actually a PCL ball too, a Pacific Coast League ball. And he signed it with his 83 Rookie of the Year symbol underneath his name. And I mean, he had the best season, I think, of anybody who ever played in Alberta. 50 home runs. That was 139 RBI or something.
And when you think
crazy
about some of the great seasons that were had here, and I look at Tim Salmon had an incredible year in 1992, I think it was, with the Trappers, and you had Danny Tartable's crazy year in 1985. Tino Martinez. Like, to think that Kittle had as good of a year as he did is something incredible. And it was really cool of the Trappers, or pardon me, the Prospects to do a Trappers retro night. And I hope we see more of that. Like, yes. I hope the Mavericks do Blue Jays retro night.
For sure.
I hope
yes.
the Bulls do a Expos or Dodgers night. And you know what? I know it's not Calgary, but the Dogs could do a Cannons night and everybody would eat it up.
Absolutely. The Vipers did that, I believe, one night. They did throwback Cannons jerseys. And I mean, Kittle himself, he was a character. He played with the Lethbridge Dodgers as well.
That's
he started
right,
started out there. So just a great story and a great character to kind of get to meet. One of the other signed balls that we have is Chris Rietsma, who's legendary in Calgary baseball's circles. He's still scouting for the Baltimore Orioles.
And he knows this kid. What's his name? He pitched with the Atlanta Braves this last year. Mike, I think.
Some Mike guy. I don't know. He gets all the headlines.
Yeah. Mike Soroka is also a part of this by the looks of your list here.
Yeah, we've got some rookie cards of Mike Soroka and Brent Cooper, who's a friend of the program, friend of the website. He's the guy who we talked about earlier in the home run derby with Canseco. He was the guy who went head-to-head against him at the time. Just a great guy to talk to and just very involved in the baseball community. And he went to Mike's debut game against the Mets. Excuse me. And he brought back some rookie cards for us and donated those to us, which is great to see. So we've got some of those up for grabs. And it's just an interesting year for Mike Soroka in general. We hope he has a healthier year next year.
And hoping to have him on the podcast. I've been messaging him back and forth as well, and hoping to have him on the show before too long as well to kind of put a wrap on 2018 and look ahead to what is to come in 2019. Does that put up an end to the list, or are we pretty...
we got lots of stuff.
Got so much
we got
more.
Lots of stuff.
So much more.
One of my favorite interviews that I did this year was with Willie Steele. He wrote a book about W.P. Kinsella, biography, a definitive biography on W.P. Kinsella. For those who don't know who W.P. Kinsella is,
Google him.
Oh, please get to know his writing. Get to know he's one of the poet laureates of baseball, and he's an Alberta guy.
Yeah.
He was born in Alberta, born in Edmonton, raised in the Edmonton area, taught at the U of C, which he didn't enjoy at all. But and he wrote Shoeless Joe, which of course was the basis of the movie Field of Dreams. He's written several other. He's since passed, but he's written several other baseball books, Thrill of the Grass, and just great imagination, great writing, and just for those who get poetic and occasionally misty-eyed about the game, which I'm guilty of. I love Kinsella's stuff. So it was really good to talk to Willie Steele about him. He had access. He had met him. W.P. Kinsella asked him to write his biography for him. And he said, I don't want it just to be all the good stuff. You write about my life in full. And he had access to all these letters and diaries and everything else. And just a really good... really fun interview to do. And so that's one of the prizes we have is we've got, it's a copy of Box Socials, which is set in Alberta by W.P. Kinsella, hardcover copy, and Going the Distance, which is the biography by Willie Steele. So again, that's one I might be bidding on. So And one
I
of
hope
the
you're
other,
ready to go broke.
yeah, I might have to have some explaining to do with the wife, but excuse me. One of the other prizes that we've had kind of in our back pocket for a little while that I think will be a fun one is we've got a Big Rock Brewery tour and beer tasting for 10 people. You'll be stuck with Joe and I on this.
Sorry for your luck.
Well, you can kick us off of
That's true.
the bill if you want, but what we'd like to do is basically come out with you. We'll have some beer. We'll do the brewery tour and we'll talk baseball.
Yeah.
We'll do what we're doing right now. You can pick our brains on any of the players, past, present, upcoming.
I'd say future, but we can't.
Yeah.
We don't have crystal balls. So
Yeah, and I think that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be used up by June of next year. But just again, another fun way of us getting to get out and meet some of the people who follow us and are in tune with what we're doing.
yeah,
So
I can't wait for. I think that's going to be a good one to do, like April, May, when baseball season just gets started and everyone wants to sit on a patio and can't wait.
yeah, love it.
Waxing nostalgic about how summer was.
And that's I mean, there's a few other items on there. We've got for those who collected the McFarlane figures, we've got Pedro
yes.
Martinez.
No relation, by the way. Just to throw that one out there. I've been asked that a couple of times.
And he played. You found this out in your story as well about Lloyd Mosby. Pedro was inducted to the Canadian Hall of
was.
Fame, and he pitched. Was it in Billings?
Yeah, he was one of the Montana boys. I can't remember off the top of my head if it was Billings or not, but he
Yeah.
actually answered. It was funny is I didn't ask him any questions in that, but he alluded to, I remember Alberta, and there's a couple of interesting stories from the newspaper archives and looking in how they were sleeping on the floor of the buses and that kind of thing. It's it wasn't all glitz and glamour, I guess we'll put it that way, when it came to the Pioneer League by any stretch of the imagination.
That's right. Yeah, and then one of the other figurines that we have is Ken Griffey Jr., my all-time favorite baseball player. Again, I'm going to be maybe bidding on this. A pro action figure, which is one that actually kind of moves and can hit the ball kind of thing. And if you're wondering, well, what connection does Griffey have to Alberta? And it's not much of one.
No,
He was
one
the
of
one
our
that
very first stories, by the way.
Yes, he was the one that got away. Him and Big Pappy.
Yeah.
They just did all these little dances with Alberta and came very close. Of course, Griffey Jr. skipped from AA straight to major leagues. Did not play with the Calgary Cannons. He did come back. He did play in the exhibition games.
Right.
So they used to do exhibition games between the AAA ball club and the big league team, and Griffey did participate in those. But yeah,
Didn't wear the red and yellow of the Calgary Cannons.
yeah, he got away. So
Unreal.
yeah,
That's
And
sad.
that's most of the list. But
Yep.
yeah, go to the website and have a look, and please bid often and generously. And yeah, hopefully you've liked some of the stories that we've told about some of the items that we've got up for grabs. I know. Yeah, I mean, it can stay in my basement. That's fine. but we'd rather give it to people who love it as well.
Absolutely. That is going to do it for another edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. As always, if you'd like to subscribe, head on over to iTunes and Google Play. And while you're there, make sure to leave us a review or a rating. Leave us a comment there as well, because the more you do that, the better chance we have of moving up the ladder and getting noticed by bigger and better people, I guess, if you want to call it that. As well, you can always follow us on the 3 major social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And by all means, we'll have many, many more stories to come on albertadugoutstories.com. One of the big ones, and we're going to let the cat out of the bag on this one. I shouldn't say that we're really letting the cat out of the bag, I guess, given that we have been kind of asking around a little bit, is coming up in the month of December. we are going to dive a little more into the major academies here in Alberta, give a little bit of a profile to them all. I know during the initial stages of the Western Major Baseball League season, I know it's Western Canadian Baseball League season now, but when it was the WNBL, we did season previews for them all, and we thought it'd be great to give a little bit of a shout out and show off what's happening behind the scenes with the academies. And so over the next few weeks, you're going to start seeing stories popping up on all four of the big ones that we are aware of. But by all accounts, if you have recommendations on ones that maybe we're missing, I know the four that we've got in our mind right now, obviously with the Dogs Academy, Vauxhall, as well as Badlands and Prospects Academy. Those have been the big four, and obviously lately a lot of news out of those guys because a lot of their players are now signing commitment letters with colleges and that kind of thing. So great news on that front, but we're going to give you a little bit of a preview and that kind of thing, give you a little bit of a profile. That's the word I was looking for, not preview. Profile on the four big ones there. So, Ian, any parting words before we let the listeners go?
Not really. Play ball. Play ball in our auction. That's I
like it. I like it.
Batter up.
A great job by Ian Wilson on putting that all together and making sure that you guys have some great options heading into the Christmas season for sure. So, again, a giant thank you one and all for listening to Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. We'll see you all next time.